spending money on things you don't really need? Yeah, me too. But today I am sharing with you 12 things that I am no longer spending money on. Now, I do not consider myself a minimalist, but the older I get, the more I want to simplify my home, simplify my brain, and just live a life without so much stuff. So, I'm going to share with you 12 things that I no longer spend money on, and it's been freeing. We've all seen the videos and pictures of the perfectly organized pantries with the labeled jars, the labeled bins, the labeled everything. Everything comes from the box from the store into another container, and it looks so nice. And I've done that before. But the thing is, it doesn't last. 2 or 3 months into it, people are putting things back where they don't belong, or they're not emptying them into the correct bin, and it just ends up being a mess again, but with all of these fancy jars in there. So I've decided no more. I'm happy if my pantry is organized, as in the things go in the area that I like them to be in, and they're kept tidy. If I open up the pantry and I see a box of cereal rather than cereal in an OXO container, it's okay, it's fine. It does not bother me. So I have given up the look of the perfect pantry for a simplified and organized pantry. In fact, when I decided to go back to not having all of the extra bins and stuff, I was able to sell 4 or 5 OXO containers, or OXO, however you pronounce that. And I made like $80 on Facebook Marketplace by selling those and getting them out of my home. And it felt so good. And my pantry still looks nice, even if it's not Pinterest worthy. So I'm no longer spending any money on pantry organization. I think this next one is controversial, but hear me out. I'm no longer spending money on physical books. It doesn't mean I'm not reading anymore. I love to read, but I just am not buying physical books anymore. What was happening was I felt like I needed to own every book I read, and I was filling up bookshelves. And instead of that bringing me joy, I was just frustrated with running out of space and maybe what book can I donate to make room for this book. And it just got to where it was more frustrating than anything else. So now I do one of three things. I either check it out from the library, I read it on my Kindle, or I listen to audio. Now, I still love books, but I am not the type to reread a book. So I just realized that it's not bringing me joy to own all of these books. Now, I have a daughter who gets great joy out of buying her favorite books, having a well curated bookshelf, and that is something special to her. And I would never tell her to stop doing that. So if you have joy in owning books, then please, by all means, that's something special to you. You should keep buying them. But for me, I just wasn't getting any joy out of it. I was feeling bogged down by all of these books. So I did get joy in gifting these books to other people. I found people I knew liked a certain genre and I would give them books, or I donated a lot of them. And now I know that they have been given to good homes. And I have created a lot less clutter in certain areas of my home, and my bookshelves can be much less full in a good way. This one might sound odd, but it has seriously simplified my life, and that is I am not buying any more colored towels for each bathroom. I'm done. Every bathroom now has white towels. That way, I don't have to use any brain power overthinking about what towels go in what bathroom, what load needs done, what colors can fit with what other colors. I just wash a bunch of white towels and then I refill the bathrooms. So it's one less decision I'm having to make on a regular basis. White towels for everybody. So I know that one might sound a little odd, but it's something to consider because it really does simplify your life. My next no buy item is something I think a lot of us can relate to, and that is I am not spending any more money on reusable water bottles. Seriously, we have every brand that's ever been created. The Yetis, the Stanleys, the Owalas, the Simple Moderns. Seriously, we've had them all, and we have no more space in our cabinets for them. So I am not getting sucked into any cute patterns, any holiday patterns, any new size, handle, etc., etc. Reusable water bottles were never meant to be owned in such large quantities because they're reusable. And I find myself reaching for the same two or three all of the time. So while I'm not necessarily ready to get rid of any of the ones I already own, I'm definitely not bringing any new ones into my home. Here's one I've never actually participated in, but I'm not going to start now. And that is food delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats. There's a ton of them. I don't know all the names. I just know that I'm not spending a dime on those services. If I really want the food, my husband or myself will just go get it. And if you are looking at your bill when your food gets delivered and you're just blown away by how much extra you're spending, just think, if I really want this, I'll go get it. And maybe you want to stop spending money on food delivery services too. I may not be spending money on food services, but unfortunately, my family is spending money on streaming services. And what I realize is that we would sign up for one without really evaluating dropping another one. And then all of a sudden, we have like 5 different streaming services, and it's more than what a cable bill would be. So now, instead of just signing up for a new one because somebody in the family wants to watch something on it, we reevaluate the ones we already have. And I regularly check in with my daughters and my husband and say, are you watching anything on Paramount Plus? When was the last time you used it? And then maybe before we sign up for a new one, there has to be another one that gets dropped. No more paying for 5 streaming services at a time. Really, I like to have a max of 2 at a time. I don't even watch TV, or I guess shows, but my family does, and I'm okay with having a couple of them. I just want to make sure they're being used instead of just being deducted from my account and we haven't used it in months. So you might want to go through your streaming services and see where you can cut there. Now let's talk Amazon Prime. We still order things from Amazon and get packages on occasion, and I do have a few things even on auto ship, but we no longer pay for an Amazon subscription. And I stopped paying for that about 2 years ago because I realized that our packages were not coming in 2 to 3 days. They were taking still 4 or 5 days or a week. And I just really wondered what I was actually paying for. So now instead of being able to ship an $8 item and have it to me, in a couple days, I have to wait until I have $35 worth of things in my cart. It may take a day or two extra, but really it hasn't been an issue. And it has curbed some impulse buying, which is not a bad thing. So I will not be spending any more money on Amazon subscriptions because the price of it got unreal, and we just said no more. Another thing we're not spending any more money on is small appliances with one use. That means ice cream maker, fondue pot, panini press. I am not buying any more of that stuff. And unfortunately, that means a Ninja Creamy because I think I would want one, but I'm pretty certain I would use it for a couple months and then it would just go live in the cabinet for the rest of its life. So I am sticking with the small appliances that I know I will use, and I will replace those when the ones I currently have break. Otherwise, no more small appliances. So if you're not a toaster oven, an Instant Pot, or a crock pot, you're probably not making your way into my house. And that's okay. I don't need all of those little gadgets. It's just less stuff to keep organized in my kitchen. Something I thought would be hard to give up, but really hasn't been hard to give up, is paper napkins and paper towels. Now, I haven't completely cut out paper towels. We do keep them because sometimes it's just what you need. But we have switched to cloth napkins, which has been no problem at all. And I also switched to dishcloths that I can reuse for the countertops and dishes and things like that. They get used one day and then they go in the laundry. And after a couple of days, I do a load of dish cloths and cloth napkins and things like that. And it really hasn't been a big deal at all. And I like that I am cutting back on the one-use paper products. And we also do not use any paper plates unless it would be like a big holiday. Then I might consider getting them. But what I found is I would buy them and they would get used only because we had them. But when we don't have them, nobody in the house complains about just going in the cabinet and getting out a real plate and then using it. It's not a big deal. But if we have them, they continue to get used. So I am no longer spending money on paper towels, napkins, or paper plates. And let me tell you, paper plates have gotten really expensive. So if that's something that you don't like spending money on, I can assure you that it's really not as big of an adjustment as you might think it would be. You can do it. Who loves buying fall and Christmas decor? Me, I love it. But what I realized is I was buying stuff with no real intention for it. So I would buy it because I thought it was pretty, and then I would get it home and I wouldn't really know where it was supposed to go because I already have a lot of things. And I'm just starting to realize that I do not want every surface of my home, even in the holidays, covered with stuff. So I have really stopped spending money on holiday decor. I still have a lot of things and we bring the bins down every year, but every year I've started purging and donating a lot of the things that are no longer my style or that I no longer want to use. And it is actually very freeing and a lot less daunting to decorate my home for the holidays when I have less stuff, but I love the things that I have. Now, my daughters and I, we love to go at Christmas time, walk down all the aisles at Home Goods, at Hobby Lobby, and look at everything. And we can still do that. I just don't take my card in with me. Instead, we go, we stop at Starbucks, we get our coffees, and then we just go and we browse, knowing that none of it's going to come home with us, but we still have a lot of fun looking at everything. And if I do realize that there's a spot in my home that needs a piece of decor, I am very intentional about what I shop for and what I buy to go in that spot. No more buying just to buy. Now, something that does bring me joy is sentimental Christmas ornaments. So I'm not going to stop buying those because it's not about just giving up everything, but giving up something so that you can have other things that do bring you happiness. And I love picking out ornaments for my family each year that fit what we've done or what reminds me of something. So I'm not going to give up my Christmas ornaments, but I am going to make sure that I'm very intentional about which ones I choose. And the last thing that I'm no longer spending money on is something that used to be an actual hobby for me, but is no longer a hobby for me. And that is planner supplies. Yeah, I used to be deep in the planner world. I watched all the planner videos. I bought the Erin Condren planner. I bought all the accessories. I got stickers off Etsy. I loved it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was my hobby. When my girls were younger and they did so many different activities and we had so many different places that they needed me to get them to, I really loved keeping all of that organized inside a paper planner. But what I started realizing is that each week when it was time to get ready for the next week, I was looking at it more as a chore than anything else. And that's when I realized that my planner days were coming to an end. And now with 2 teenage daughters, I don't dabble in the planner world at all. So I offloaded a lot of that stuff, gave a lot of it away, donated it, and I really don't miss all the money that I used to spend on planner supplies because it was a lot. And I have lightened my load in that department, but I did enjoy it while it lasted. But now we are a Google Calendar family, and I honestly just like having a little monthly pocket calendar for my purse and a notebook for brain dumping because sometimes you just need a good old brain dump on a piece of paper. So that is what's working for me now. So I am no longer spending any money on planner supplies. So that is my current list of things I am no longer buying, and it's working really well for my family. Like I said, I'm not a minimalist, but I do like not having the things in my home be a burden. So this has just been a way for me to lighten our load and focus on the things that we do want to bring into our home. I would love for you to leave a comment about the things that you're no longer buying so we can all get some ideas. And if you liked today's video, I would love it if you would subscribe. I hope to see you in a future video. Bye.